Londres.
We keep being told about the risks in leaving the EU. But what about the risks involved in staying? It's suggested that if we were to leave, the other member states would cut off their nose to spite their face, that they'd behave vindictively towards us. Now, if that's really true, then this organisation is not a club of nations. It's a protection racket that needs to threaten members who want to walk away. But I don't believe it is true. I mean, I've never heard, in 17 years here as an MEP, I've never heard anyone suggest that if Britain were to withdraw from the political institutions in Brussels, that we wouldn't continue to trade. After all, the other member states sell to us much more than they buy from us. We have a permanent structural trade deficit with the EU, only partially offset by our surplus with the rest of the world. But if I'm wrong, if those in the Remain campaign who say that we'd be punished are correct, if the other member states would be so vindictive, so anti-British as to damage themselves in order to deter anyone from leaving, what the hell are we doing inviting these people to run our country? Put it another way, voting to stay in is not the same as voting to stay put. Voting to remain means remaining on a conveyor belt whose far end we can't see. The reason that this referendum was brought forward by the Prime Minister to the earliest date permissible is because the euro and migration crises are deteriorating, and it was important for the Remain side to hold the vote before we saw how bad things had got on the continent. Consider some of the unknowns if we remain. How many more bailouts will we be dragged into? And we were given a written guarantee before that we wouldn't be dragged into any more bailouts, and yet we had to pay the third Greek bailout shortly afterwards. What will our budget contributions be 5 or 10 or 20 years from now? What will the immigration situation be? How many asylum seekers will be coming here 5 or 10 or 20 years from now? These are all things that we cannot know. But one thing we do know in our bones is this: a confident country does not fear to follow her own path. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference.